does for me. Boy, if I could read your mind, I wonder if I'd be inside, if you could be mine. I feel like I've been drinking wine. If you call me baby, me I don't go mind, oh. I know you want me, baby, make you talk your mind, oh. You see that I've been waiting, me I don't go lie, oh. Me I don't go lie, maybe I'm just crazy, but I think he loves me, hallelujah. Oh, if he loves me, hallelujah. One day he'll tell me, hallelujah. I think he loves me, hallelujah.
I done they love you for a long time, my dear, yeah.
It be like say you know, no, say I care.
I wish you knew what I'm feeling for you, darling.
You're so extraordinary, and there's no ordinary thing.
You say you love me, hallelujah. My baby loves me, hallelujah. The way you love me, hallelujah. Because you love me, hallelujah. You say you love me, hallelujah. My baby loves me, hallelujah. The way you love me, hallelujah. Because you love me, hallelujah. You say you love me, hallelujah. My baby loves me, hallelujah. The way you love me, hallelujah. Because you love me, hallelujah. Oh, and she loves me, hallelujah. She said
Hi, Martina. Can you hear me?
I see the way he looks at me. I know the things he does for me. Boy, if I could read your mind, I wonder if I'd be inside, if you could be mine.
When you had Premium, you were in control. You had unlimited skips, even on mobile. You could download your playlists and listen offline to save on data. Shuffling was an option, not a requirement. Not to mention, all of your music was ad-free. But here's the good news. It's not too late. Premium is waiting for you. Just tap the banner to learn more.
Baya, oh la long, London. Sipping on life at the liquor bar. See you at the corner. Are you alone tonight? Has anybody told you that you look so nice? Or am I the first guy? Oh baby, I'm loving your style. Let me buy you a drink for the night. Spend my money on you, get you rings that you didn't have. So let's go to the time when you answer me, yeah. Cause it's cold in the dark. Do you need some company, girl? Oh hey mystery girl, what you doing all alone there? Oh hey mystery girl, oh hey mystery girl.
Hello, Leslie.
Hi.
Okay,
Good afternoon.
yes, I can hear you now. You want to try and check your sharing?
I tried. It says I can't share while someone else is.
No, you can't share now because you are not yet a co-host. Angela, hello. Yes. Hello, Angela.
So just try to share now.
Okay. Leslie, try and share now.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. I'm going to do stop share. All right.
Daniel.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Can you hear Leslie well?
Yeah, the
Pardon?
line is cracking a bit.
Yeah, she's cracking a bit. Hello, Leslie.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Video's not on. Oh, there we go.
It's cracking a
I'm sorry, say that again?
I say it's cracking a little bit. I don't know.
It's crackling. I can switch to phone. Where is that option?
Change to which option? Okay?
Is this better audio?
Yes, better audio. It's okay now.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's better for me
Yeah.
too.
Okay,
I can hear you better.
okay, fantastic. So, Daniel.
Hello, I'm with you.
Yes, Daniel. I just want to know, is it better for us to, like when we are talking, leave our video on or put it off? Which one is better?
It all depends. If you have somebody on the floor, that person can have his
Okay.
his or her video on, while others will just put it off. Just to manage the bandwidth.
Okay. Then, okay.
So turn the video off?
No. When other people are talking. When you're talking, your video should be on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Daniel, but you can control it, Daniel, I presume. You can like mute everybody and then unmute the people, then the people can be unmuting themselves that need to talk. Okay.
Yeah, Kemi will manage that aspect of it.
I've not seen Kemi now. Let me call.
So she's back in now. I will make her a co-host.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Everyone.
You, Angela,
Kemi,
thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, President.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being on ground for us, Mr. Daniel.
Okay, thank you. So who should I give the hosting right to, so that I can be on the background?
Okay, but you don't have to still leave, just in case. You
Yeah,
can
on
give
the
it.
background. So sometimes you might call me and then it will take some time to respond because I need to catch up with some things now.
You have. I can see that you gave co-host to Madam Justina. You can give her the host.
Okay.
She can host directly.
Okay.
Hello, Ma. Well done.
Thank you, President. Well done.
Thank you so much. I think basically, Daniel, all our presenters should be co-hosts.
Is Christina on yet, or should I text her? I don't see her.
I see your face. Throw my worries away as I hold you in my
Hello, Leslie. Thank you so much.
How happy you make me feel, babe. You fit perfectly with me, baby. You have my heart, you keep it safe. I'm a bad dancer, but I'd love to take you slow dancing into the starry night. And I'll hold you so tightly and whisper into your ear that you're beautiful and heavenly. Baby, you are my song. Hope the music never stops, 'cause I'm deep in love.
Daniel, please can you make me co-host?
Since I got you, girl, in my life, it's so much more than I asked God for. How did I get you, girl, in my life? How happy you make directly with me, baby. You have my heart, you keep it safe. I'm a bad dancer, but I'd love to take you slow dancing into the starry nights, and I'll hold you so tightly and whisper into your ear that you're beautiful and heavenly. Baby, you are my song. Hope the music never stops. Girl, I'm begging you, would you love me now? Tomorrow too far away. Love me now. Girl, don't wait no longer. Just love me now. Baby, love me now. Baby, love me now. My baby, love me now. We don't have eternity. Love me now. Please be my, I won't be you. Love me now. Be my, baby, love. I'm a bad dancer, but I love to take you dancing into the starry night, and I hold you so tightly and whisper into your ear that you're beautiful and heavenly. Baby, you are my song. Oh, hope the music never stops. 'Cause I've been a better man since I got you, girl, in my life. Johnny, drill. Maven. Love is a beautiful thing. This love, not for you and me. Be my Juliet and I'll be your Romeo, my love. It's the hand of God, now him bring you to me. It's indescribable what you mean to me. Would you be my Juliet and I'll be your Romeo, my love? Oh yeah, yeah. Would you be my Juliet and I'll be your Romeo, my love, my love. And when the stars come out at night, I'll think about you, my love, my love. And in the dark I see your lovely eyes. Darling, you are my light. You are my love.
I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it. Are you hearing it? I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it. I'm not
Good
hearing
evening,
the
all. I
national
can
anthem.
hear you. Is that Justina?
Yes, please. Can we, the national anthem,
Okay.
start the national anthem as a prayer?
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Madam Justina, you are muted. So, or the program have not started.
Please, can we hear the national
Yes.
anthem?
We can see it, but we can't hear the audio.
Okay. So can we just sing it? Can we just sing it, please?
Okay.
Yeah, let's sing it, please.
Okay.
Oh God of creation, direct
Our noble cause, guide our leaders right.
You can take off your mics and join us.
to
Grow in
All
God's through.
great Lord,
Hearts are turned
to
to
nation
and justice
shall reign.
All right. Can we hear me? I think I need to put up the video so that my voice, the bandwidth will be okay. I just want to say good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, eminent speakers, ASSP members and invited guests. My name is Justina Okoro, and I'm the WISE Nigerian Chapter Administrator. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the ASSP Nigerian Chapter WISE Maiden Workshop Team, the professional woman, her experience and growth. WISE is a common interest group within the ASSP that fosters the advancement of women and sharing ideas in the OSH profession. In this workshop, we'll be focused on some common areas that affect professional women. And these areas are our work-life balance, our strength and struggle, career development, and leadership. We will be hearing from two seasoned professionals that have succeeded in their careers, as well as their private lives. They will be sharing their career development experiences, how they balance their lives, as well as give us tips on how we can achieve same in our own lives. The workshop will be rounded up with a plenary session with experienced industrial leaders. I look forward to an exciting and enlightening time with you all. And I really want to encourage you to stay till the end of the workshop so that you can get the full benefit of the workshop. So I wish you all a successful and wonderful time in this workshop. I now call upon the ASSP Nigerian Chapter President for her opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Administrator. I welcome everyone to this maiden event. I thank you all for joining us at this point in time, most especially to our Global Administrator. I thank you for not only being present, but for nurturing us as a chapter and have been so supportive. To our Administrator and our Chair, Global, we say thank you. Special thanks to our Administrator for Nigerian Chapter. I want to thank you for how far you have led us. We've had a wonderful time in opening the WISE, the Women in Safety Excellence Nigerian Chapter, having a wonderful executive behind the scene who had been able to have programs for us that had increased our growth. And one of such is the professional women in which we are gathered today. I thank you all for joining. I am glad that you were able to make out time to come to attend this program today. A lot have been put in terms of us reviewing today our experiences, our strengths as women in the career path. We are going to be looking at our work-life balance and sharing lessons learned from the participants as they share to us. Like our administrator has said, let us sit down and to the very end and enjoy every moment with us. It is the goal of this executive that this program will basically be a required tool to improve our growth, to sustain the strength and strategies that every woman have, and to build the aspects at which they struggle to make us a more stronger and better women to do our careers and be able to still take care of ourselves. I want to thank especially the speakers who had prepared to share with us their knowledge today, our panelists and our invited guests, the executive, past leaders, and the ASSP members. We thank you all for making this maiden edition a wonderful one. We are most honored to have you in our midst, and we want you to enjoy this section as we look forward to seeing you in our subsequent sections. Thank you once more, and God bless.
Thank you, President. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening from where you are right now joining us today. I say welcome to the maiden workshop organized by Women in Safety Excellence, American Society of Safety Professionals, Nigerian Chapter. I am Kemi Adebuji Aromosore, your moderator for today. I'd like to recognize the Global ASSP WISE Administrator, Christina Roll, ASSP WISE Chair, Leslie Johnson, ASSP Nigerian Chapter President, Mercy Rifle, ASSP Nigerian Chapter WISE Administrator, Justina Okoro, and the entire ASSP WISE Nigerian Chapter Executive. Our housekeeping rules remain. Everyone on this call should please mute their microphone at all time. But when you want to speak, please unmute yourself. If you have any question about the presentation, please use the chat box and the executive will note down your question, which we will attend to it during the Q&A section. Today, we're going to have two sections. The first section is going to be presentation by two seasoned professionals, Leslie Johnson and Angela Upongwan, which they will speak to us about career, life balance, and mentorship. Afterwards, we will take the Q&A section, which will be anchored by Dearest. The second part is the preliminary section, which will be anchored by Bukola Ayo, featuring 5 experienced industrial leaders, Angela Upongwan, Engineer Adebola Bada, John Ja, Christina Rule, and Dr. Olive Ogbele. Next on our agenda is the keynote address by our WISE Global Administrator, Christina Rule, all the way from Georgia, USA. Christina, kindly unmute yourself and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction, Kemi. And to all of you joining us from around the world today, welcome to The Professional Woman, Her Experiences and Growth. What is a professional woman? What does she do? What does she look like? What does she wear? How does she speak? What makes her a professional? If you look up the word professional in a dictionary, you will find multiple definitions. A person engaged or qualified in a profession. A person who has the type of job that needs a high level of education and training. Someone who has worked hard in the same type of job for a long time and has become skilled at dealing with any problem that might happen. Or a person who does a job that people usually do as a hobby, sports, for example. Those definitions included what I think are key words that give us some solid insight into our questions. They're engaged, they have a high level of education or training, they work hard, they deal with problems. If you search for images of professionals, you'll find a myriad of pictures of individuals who are young, old, happy, serious, Black, white. They wear suits. They wear uniforms. They are part of a group. They are alone. Maybe we need to know the characteristics of a professional. An article on LinkedIn lists items such as appearance, demeanor, reliability, competence, ethics. If you look on Indeed.com, characteristics also include being organized, accountable, having a positive attitude, and showing emotional control. As a woman with education and training who has worked in my profession for almost 20 years and has some of those characteristics that I mentioned in the articles, one could say that I am a professional, and I would agree. I hope, though, that if I took a poll right now of everyone attending, that you all would also say that yes, you too are a professional based on all the items that I've mentioned. But in my opinion, being a professional goes so much farther and means so much more. In my opinion, being a professional means you overcome time and time again. You find success and you use that success to overcome. You struggle and sometimes you fail, but you overcome. You grow and you learn every day, and you take that knowledge and you overcome. You look around you and behind you at the people who are watching, and you step in confidence as you overcome. The professional woman does this. She knows there are challenges in her path, and at times she has more of them in her way than others who are on the same path simply because she is a woman. But she is strong. She steps up and she learns and she grows and she overcomes. She succeeds. And she does all of this in a way that others respect. She does this while trying to maintain a healthy work-life balance. What she doesn't do is do it alone. The Women in Safety Excellence Common Interest Group of ASSP is charged with advancing our members in the safety profession through education, mentorship, networking, collaboration, research, and innovation. We promote the equity and advancement of women in the safety profession. Our members are men and women and come from all backgrounds, beliefs, and cultures. We are a group of individuals who come together to mentor, grow, and encourage women to be excellent in their work, to be a safety professional, and to use the strengths that we have individually and collectively to overcome and succeed. Over the next few hours, you are going to hear from a number of professional women who have used their experiences, challenges, and strengths to overcome obstacles and succeed in their careers. And my hope is that when our time together is over, you will feel empowered, energized, and confident with the knowledge that you too can use your experiences, your challenges, and your strengths to overcome and succeed in your life. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for having me here today. And I wish all of you success in your career and in life.
All right. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is introduction of the first speaker. Leslie Johnson is going to be our first presenter today. And Leslie Johnson is the first president, risk control casualty, technical leader at the CNA. In the role, she's responsible for the casualty strategy and operational objectives and policies for risk control. Prior to this role, Leslie was a product liability risk specialist at Cobb, where she was responsible for analyzing clients' exposures, providing client services to large complex products, liability accounts, and developing staff expertise. Leslie is a certified safety professional, associate in risk management, and a professional member of American Society of Safety Professionals. She is also a founding board member of Women in Safety Excellence, a common interest group of the American Society of Safety Professionals. She is a chapter vice chair and leads a team of 165 people worldwide who promote educational and networking opportunities. Leslie received her undergraduate degree from Harvey Mudd College. So join me as I welcome Leslie Johnson to present now. Leslie, kindly unmute yourself and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimmy. I am very happy to be part of your workshop, and I would like to share some of the things I've learned over the past 30 years in the hopes that you can learn from them as well. And oops, here we go. Some of the most important lessons I learned in my first year of school, which was a 20-hour drive from my home, and I didn't know anyone. It's an engineering school, which meant there were about 20% women at the time. Oops, I'm advancing here. So very quickly, I needed to learn to be assertive. And I loved the school when I went there. I loved the topics and all the new friends I met. And one of the really critical things I learned was time management and structuring my day. And that's because I went to school that was rather expensive and my family didn't have the money. So I had 2 part-time jobs and was going to school, and I loved swimming and playing water polo. So I did that throughout college as well. And a lot of people have said to me, I can't believe you were able to do all of that at the same time. And I honestly believe that I would not have done any better at school if I hadn't been working and participating in athletic teams. And that's because I had to structure my day. So I could have, hung out with all my friends, and which we did a lot, but a lot of times everyone was starting their homework at 11 o'clock at night because we're in our late teens and early 20s, and that's our circadian rhythm. But I had to do my homework earlier because I had to get up at 5 in the morning for swim practice. So I think from that time on, like having a really structured day has really helped me. And you'll hear kind of a theme throughout this while I'm speaking is the importance of choosing how you spend your time, because you can spend it however you want. But if you prioritize family activities or certain work activities or the hobbies that you enjoy, that's where you need to spend your time. So as I graduated, I got some fabulous advice from my dad. I graduated at a time where the economy was very poor and graduates were having a hard time getting jobs. And as an engineer in Southern California, where I went to school, my choices were pretty much to be an aerospace engineer or nothing else. That was it. That was about the only option. And we were happy if we got a job offer. So I did interviewing, and I got 2 job offers. One of them was in aerospace, and the other one was for an insurance company, which is something I had never considered. It's not what you go to engineering school for. But I called my dad afterward and asked him what I should do. And my dad is also an engineer. And he gave me great advice. And I do realize, for those of you who are graduating now, that the college graduates now are more sophisticated than they were when I graduated 30 years ago. So his advice was to call back both companies and ask to interview with the people who would be doing the exact same job I would be doing at that entry level, which I never would have thought of on my own. I just assumed we would be happy if we got a job offer, and it never would have occurred to me without my dad to ask for that extra step. So I did that and called my dad again and explained that the job in aerospace sounded fun, but the one in insurance sounded fabulous, because our job, and Christina has the same job I do, is to visit manufacturing plants. They give us tours and show us how things are made. And then we write up an assessment of the different exposures and how that could possibly impact the insurance policy. So the problem was the insurance job was quite a bit lower, between 20 and 25% lower in salary. And my dad's advice was to do what sounds fun, because if you like what you're doing, you will be good at it and the money will follow. And I did pick the insurance job, and I have loved it every step of the way. I've had only 2 companies, one at Chubb where Christina works now, and one at CNA, and I have loved the entire time. So I want to give one more piece of advice about working in the safety industry, because during this first job, when you're young in a profession, you tend to be discounted. And it can also, when you're walking into manufacturing and construction plants, when you're a young woman, you also tend to be double discounted. So the 2 things that worked for me were finding commonalities and using your strengths. So my 2 things for finding commonalities were looking around the office space where we first would meet and see where they went to school, if they had photographs of their family, and what other interests were apparent in their office, and find that little commonality. And the other thing that worked for me was I could tell sometimes I was being dismissed because I was young and a woman, and they assumed that I didn't know anything about their operations. So as we walked through, I would find an opportunity to either comment or ask a question, a very technical question, or comment that I had an engineering degree, and it was like a light switch had flipped. And they were then more than happy, once they thought I understood and cared about their business, to tell me everything I wanted to know and answer my questions. The other strength I want to comment on for women is we tend to be nurturers, which means we really care about the employees that we're trying to keep safe. And so we're typically doing more than the minimum regulatory requirements, because you have to remember that regulations are really just the bottom line minimum. And so we tend to always be looking for continuous improvement and really caring about our employees. And one of the goals when Justine and Mercy were talking about this workshop is to help with work-life balance. So I'll give you a quick outline of my story. After school, I started dating a man named Ken, and he moved away while we were dating, about 3 hours away. So that was one of the first things, is to figure out distance dating, and again, organizing your schedule so you could have more time together on the weekends. We did get married. We had our first child, and at that point, I went part-time for about 6 months. And then we had our second child, and Ken at that time was working. We lived on the West Coast of the United States, and every single week he flew to the East Coast for his job, except for the weeks when he was flying to Europe. So I left work at the time our second son was born for 3 years to be at home full time with them while they were young. During that time, we relocated about 6 hours drive north. And then we relocated again. Some of you might be too young to remember this, but there was something called the dot-com bust. And that was when there were a whole bunch of software companies that started up. And it was the next best thing, and everyone bought into them. And then at some point, collectively, everyone realized that all of the companies wouldn't be successful. So they imploded and took the stock market with them. And we were part of that because Ken worked for a startup. So we relocated again, about 12 hours north. And at that point, I went back to work full time, and Ken stayed home with the boys while they were still young. Then for the past 15 years, mostly both of us worked. I did take a few months off when we adopted 2 children 10 years ago. And last year, Ken took time off, and he's still off right now, while we're handling a mental health crisis with our youngest child who needs a lot of support right now. So throughout this time, this is my story, and I'm sure that you all have similar ones where you have different things going on at home, whether it's with your parents or your partner or your children, and you need to step kind of on and off the track one time. And I want to share something I learned from Jennifer Zeppetto. She was the first WISE admin, and this was, I don't know when, probably 12 years ago. I was having trouble with someone who was supposed to be helping me with WISE activities, and she was not available. So she was not making the phone calls, and she wasn't moving forward on projects. And I called Jennifer because I was very frustrated. And she said, you know what, we all have different things, and I should have known, right, given my past with all the different things I had going on with adoptions and relocations and going in and out of work. But she said, we just need to be welcoming and acknowledge that. So thank the person for what she's done. And as you arrange for a new person, just welcome her and say, you know what, when you're ready to be back with WISE as your work and your family allows, we would love to have you back on the team. So that was a valuable lesson I learned. And I'm telling you that not only to remind you to be kind to other people as they go in and out of different life phases, but also to be kind to yourself and take time when you need it. And I want to talk a little bit about transitioning between, well, not really so much between work and home. There are so many things out there that talk about transitioning between work and home for mental health. The one comment I will make is that they used to always, all this training was about figuring out how to transition on your drive or your bus or your walk home. And now a lot of us are working at home. So I do know someone who at the beginning of every day, she leaves her house, walks around the block, and then comes back and goes into her office. And at the end of the day, she does the same thing. She walks around the block and comes back, and mentally that allows her to transition. I usually can hear my children. Ken's taking care of them right now, so they'll be quiet. But mostly what I've done is I have tried to not work once I end for the day. So once I go out to do dinner, not go back. And obviously that can't always happen, right? There are times when things happen, but that's been my strategy for that. I want to talk a little bit more though about the transition when you get a new position. So sorry, I'm getting a little wild here with my with my mouse. It's transitioning with new positions because you often have different goals. You'll have a different schedule. You might need to relocate. You will very likely have different peers, and even within your own company, different peers that you need to manage, along with possibly a different manager and different people that might be reporting to you. So I want to encourage you at this point to pause and look at the mentors that you have at the time and see if you need new mentors. And I say mentors plural because a lot of people, when they first start out, think I need a mentor and she or he will help me with everything. But I would encourage you to have more than one mentor, because there are mentors that can help you with professional things, with a technical piece of it, with work-life balance, navigating your company politics. So think about what new mentor you might want to have as you move into a new role. And I do want to talk, since we're on WISE, about my WISE experiences. And I have received a tremendous, tremendous amount of support and learned new skills from WISE. When I first started, I was one of the original board members, and I want to say that was about 18 years ago. And it started with Jennifer Zeppetto and Kelly Burnish, and they sent an email out, I think to all of the women at ASSP at the time, I'm not sure, but it basically said, we'd like to start this support group for women, a common interest group. And if you're interested, this is when we'll have a phone call. And these are kind of some of the things that we're thinking about. And I emailed back because at the time I was doing engineering mentoring locally, and I was very passionate about it. And so I asked if there was a mentoring program, and if there was, would it be peer mentoring or student mentoring? And then at the time when we had the call, our first original call, we were brainstorming all the different things, and mentoring was one of the things that came up. I couldn't speak at the time. I'd lost my voice completely from a cold. And, but luckily someone had volunteered to start a mentoring program, and I thought, this is perfect. I'm going to help with that. So after the call, I got a hold of Jennifer, and it turned out that it had been a while since my email. And so she remembered that I had volunteered to start a mentoring program. And I stopped for a moment and I thought, gosh, I have 2 young kids, and there's a lot going on at work, but I really care about mentoring, and I really care about helping women in safety, because we're still a very underrepresented piece of the safety community. So I said yes to that. And I tell you this because it's very easy to walk away from something or say I'm too busy. But it's also very easy, like once you get started on something, to continue with it. And while I'm giving you that advice, I'm going to give you kind of a flip experience that I had. I was also on a board of governors for my college, which was also very fun. It was a lot of my people that I knew, alumni were on there. So it was some people that I knew, some that were older than I was. And every quarter we met and we talked about a lot of plans, and we had lunch. And then the next quarter we would talk about a lot of plans and have lunch. And then the next quarter we would talk about a lot of plans and have lunch. And if you've noticed, all we did was talk about a lot of plans and have lunch, but we never executed. We never did anything. None of the groups met in between. My co-chair, or the chair of the subcommittee I was on, never had any phone calls or meetings in between. So when I was pregnant with my first child, I actually took the opportunity to say, I'm not really doing anything here. I'm not accomplishing anything, and I'm not really learning any new skills. So I took that opportunity to step away. So again, tying that all back into being very careful about how you choose to spend your time. So I choose to spend my time with WISE. I've been with WISE since it started, so 18 years ago, because I have learned so much from it, whereas I wasn't really getting anything from the other board I was on. So I did start up at the very beginning of it, the mentoring program, and went through, designed the program and built the structure and guides and expectations. We had some missteps that we learned from, so we restructured the program a little bit. And I'm trying to think, maybe about 10 years ago, I turned it over to Louise Valley. And if you have never met, well, if you've met Louise, you'll remember her. She is super, super energetic. And she took, I thought this was a good program, but I will tell you that she took it to a whole nother level and added new new additions to it and made it more flexible, and she's doing just a fabulous job. So one little plug for the mentoring. If you have, if you would like to mentor someone, or if you're looking for a mentor, consider the WISE mentoring program. It's on the website. If you can't find it, you can email either me or Christina, or you can also email Justina or Mercy, and they will get you connected with it as well. So when I turned over the mentoring program, I took over ChapterWise, which is also something somebody else had started at the time. It was called Local Level Liaisons. And, but it was good because someone else had started it, and then I could see like other different improvements, just like Louise did to my program. So again, added some structure, set up regular calls, and created support materials. And it has been continuing to grow. So another point I want you to take away from this is to ask for help when you need it. And I know that is difficult for a lot of people. I definitely needed it. It was getting to be a lot of time and activity on top of, you know, work and family. So Karen LaRue joined, and we're co-chairs now. And we have, I'm not sure how we lucked out this way, but our schedules are perfectly out of sync. So when she is having something going on at home, or she got a new job, then my schedule allowed me to take on more activities. And then when I had stuff going on, Karen stepped up. So it's been a great experience partnering with her. And recently, Monique Parker was added for student outreach, because that's something a lot of the ChapterWise teams are interested in. So overall, what I would say is I love the people that I work with at ChapterWise. They are very skilled, very high energy, really, really supportive. And I've learned a lot. I've had mentors and been a mentor, and I've learned a lot of skills. So I would encourage engagement with WISE, and if not with WISE, then with other industry groups that are available to you. And then this, I do want to talk about networking, because this is a career development workshop, so we do need to mention that. And up here, I have on here the up, down, and peers, and all of the arrows, and it's meant to say, look everywhere for the people that you want to network with. And people automatically think of networking up for people that can help them, or people that they want to be like. And I will say, I want to make one comment about some studies that have been done on networking. And overall, what they found is that men do a better job networking upline. And they also are more direct about asking for someone to be their sponsor, or to help them negotiate something, or to be on a project. And I would have to say that's not one of my skills, but I have been thinking about it, and trying to decide if that is something that would be better for me, or if that is outside my personality and I need to stick better with what I do. But it's just the different way that men overall have differences in the way that they communicate and socialize, and that includes how networking occurs. Then with peers, that's pretty much an easy one, because peers are going through the same thing that we are. So they're really good sounding boards and for sharing ideas. And then I also want to encourage the networking with people that are down a few steps from you on the career ladder, because you will intersect throughout your careers. And a lot of times people that are new, they're not hung up on the old ways of, well, that's the way that we've always done it. So they're more willing to question what's going on, and they have new ways of looking at things. So networking in all directions. And the same for within industry. So it's very obvious that you want to network in your industry, in safety, and then wherever else you belong, whether it's construction or manufacturing or services. But I would also say, look at those other areas where you can network, like with your alumni pool. If you're in any sports or have some outside hobbies, if you belong to religious organizations, and with your neighbors. And the more that you network and connect with people, the more you'll see the value in that. And I'm going to connect that back again to asking for help. So think about when you're part of a network and someone reaches out to you and asks for something, you typically say, yeah, let me figure out how to help make that happen for you, because we want other people to be successful and we want to help them. So think about that when you're struggling with something or have a question. Reach out to your network. I promise that people want to help you. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is professional branding and building your own professional brand. And at work, oops, see, I'm doing it with the mouse again. I got to stop that. At work, it's really important to deliver on promises and meet expectations. Look for opportunities to make people's lives easier, not just your boss, but also your peers. And ask to work on projects that will either increase your skills or showcase your skills. And overall, when you're thinking about professional branding, think about the way you're perceived by other people and the way you want to be perceived for your skills, for your professionalism, for your teamwork. It's not about taking notes and getting snacks because people ask for you. And I bring it up specifically because I still see it happening where people, when they're looking, they'll ask a woman to do that. And I mean, some of that's important. Those are things are important for meetings, but it's also critical to not always be that person to share those responsibilities. And then I'll mention really briefly online profiles, because this also is another thing where there are whole seminars on how to manage that. But a couple of key things. So first, be very aware of your image. So that's easy to do when you're on LinkedIn because that's based on a professional networking thing, but a lot of people are also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and those are meant often to be more social, and so we're a little bit more free with how we are on there. But just remember that when recruiters or people even at your company or people you're networking with will search for you, they see all of those social networking things that you allow open. So just be aware of how you're presenting yourself everywhere and what kind of privacy controls you have on your network, on your social profiles. They're also a great way to network. And I wanted to mention LinkedIn specifically. There are two kind of different ways to connect with people on LinkedIn. I personally pick a more selective thing. So when people send me invites, I look, if it's somebody I know, then I connect with them. Or I also look, if I'm not familiar with them, to see if they went to the same school that I went to, or if they're part of ASSP, or they work at Chubb or CNA where I have worked. And that's just my own personal way that I do it. But I also want to mention LinkedIn Lions. That stands for LinkedIn Open Networker, and that's someone who accepts all invitations. And that's, and I just told you mine, but I want to say that Abby Ferry, who is a WISE, or the immediate past WISE admin, is a Lion, and she's really good at social networking. And so both of those are options. Just kind of think about how you want to manage it. And the next thing I want to mention is leadership opportunities outside of work. And I say this, I talked about all of the things that I did with WISE, and there are other, like within your industry, your neighborhood, any organizations. I promise that all of those volunteer things are looking for leaders, and they're really good for networking, building skills, and building your professional brand. And it's also then that's something if you're looking to switch careers or move up in your company, that's something that then goes on your resume where you can show that you led a team or did a specific technical job or support job for those organizations. And I also want to talk about the opportunities outside of work to build speaking and consulting experiences. And really it could just be any of those skills. I just chose these two. I'll talk about the speaking one because sometimes you have very limited or no opportunities to build your speaking experience at work, but you can at other places. So if you offer to present at an industry association or at schools, I promise the high schools and the colleges love when people come in and talk about their careers so that students can see what is available out there. And a lot of them will also, especially at the college level, would like people to come in and talk about technical aspects of the subject that they're teaching, just offer some variety. So it's not just always the same professor up talking. And one note on ASSP conferences, there's a large conference every year. It's pretty much always in the United States. So hopefully you can get your company to get you to travel there, or it's a mix. Lately, last year and this year, it's been virtual. But if you build your speaking experience by talking at colleges or at regional safety events or other events, doesn't have to be safety, that is one of the criteria that the speaker selection committee looks at when they select speakers for the year. So just think about building those, starting smaller and building those experiences. And I want to wrap up with this very, very important step. So if you don't take anything else away from this, I want you to remember this. You are taking time right now to think about your career development, and will hopefully leave with great ideas and positive energy from this workshop. So block time in your calendar now. Write down some specific actions you plan to take to advance your skills and career, and block time to accomplish those. And I say that because when I go to these things, I think I'm so energized when I come out of it, and I have all these plans that I'm going to do, and I think about it over the weekend, and then come Monday morning, I hit my desk and there's a pile of stuff, and I get bogged down again in the day-to-day things. So block time now on your calendar specifically to accomplish your goals, and also block time to check in with yourself each month to make sure that you're moving forward. And this is the time to be honest with yourself about what you want and if you are moving forward on those. So I wish all of you the best as you figure out what will work for you at home and in your careers. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Leslie, for that wonderful presentation. So my take home, and I'm sure most of us on this call, our take home is, the truth is, networking has really helped a lot of us, and mentorship has helped a lot of us, and it will also continue to help us. And as women, we should start also looking at the opportunity of having the leadership roles and all, which the guys will also help, because most times in organizations and all, they don't always give women that opportunity. But you need to tell yourself that I want to get to this level. And once you tell yourself and you work towards this, you definitely get there. And one of my take home from what you have presented to us is we should always seek for help when we need, and it's very paramount to me. So thank you once again, Leslie. I'm going to call on Dearest to anchor the Q&A, and please, if you have any question, you can start dropping it so that she anchors that. So Dearest, over to you. Can you unmute yourself now?
Thank you, Kemi. Good day, everyone. Thank you, Leslie, so much for the for all the information you've given to us. We've actually gotten so many information from your stories. In person, I got to appreciate time management better. You also talked to us a lot about work-life balance, mentoring, and lots more. Okay, for us to continue, please, if you have questions, you can start asking your questions now. You can drop them in the chat box or use the raise hand button. So please, we are open for questions. Questions is scheduled for 10 minutes, so please come up with your questions.
Buki, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. I can see you're raising up your hand.
Thank you, Leslie, for that wonderful presentation. You talked about trying to give speeches, give talks in different institutions and all that. But for some people that really want to do such, but they are shy, how do they overcome their shyness? Thank you.
That's a good question. I think I would say it goes along with that, just jumping in and doing it, like with WISE when I could have turned down that opportunity. And I will tell you, I still remember the days when I was younger. I hated talking in front of people. I would stand at the front and I would have this nervous tick where I would twirl the bottom of my shirt. So it was really obvious to everyone that I was nervous. And the one thing I went through, and I don't know if you offer it, I do believe it's global, is I went to Toastmasters, and it's an outside safe place to learn to speak. And you start off very small with just like little 30-second blips to get up and say something. And it's a very supportive group because everyone is going there to learn to speak. So you talk they do like a quick thing where they ask you, some kind of funny question. You just have to respond to it. And if you're not even up for that, then you can give feedback to other people that are speaking. And it grows very gradually to little teeny small ones, and it works up to like 5-minute presentations. And then if you choose, you can go on to competitions, which I never did that part, but it did help me to just do it over and over again. And I also am, before I do presentations, I tend to prep a lot because it makes me feel more comfortable with it.
Thank you very much. We have a question from Victor Egbe. He's asking, he said, is it ideal for a female safety professional to have a male as her mentor? Question for you, Leslie.
Yes, I think it depends. I am a big advocate of having multiple mentors, and I don't think you should try, because you're a woman, I don't think you should restrict yourself and look only for women as your mentors, because there are I have both men and women mentors, and I pick them more for their skills and where I see they're really accomplished at work to see what I can learn from them, and also how comfortable I am with them.
Thank you. Okay, we have a question from Christina Rowe. She's asking, is there a specific work challenge you can remember where you felt disadvantaged because of being a woman, but found success? How did you have that success? Let me come again. Or did you get it clear? Okay. Is there a specific work challenge you can remember where you felt disadvantaged because of being a woman but found success? How did you have that success?
I think that there's a few cases I can remember, both at school and when I first started work, where women were definitely a minority in the workplace. And I did feel disadvantaged at the time. I mean, I had people put their arms around me to escort me through the facility, which is just no way that's appropriate. And I would say the reason that I found it to be a success in the long run, maybe not in that immediate, is because it really made me think. Every time one of those things happened, it made me think about what had happened, how I could handle it better. And so it was always just like thinking through those things. Like a lot of times things are not just handed to you. And so you have to look for those ways to show that you are valuable and that you do have the technical skills and the business skills. And so I think overall, I would say women still work harder at being successful in the same role.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Naomi Goyo. Hello, everyone. Sincere appreciation to WISE Nigeria chapter for this maiden workshop on the professional woman. Maintaining a balance between work and life can be a major challenge for a lot of working women. Now, Leslie, the question to you. Do you think requesting for things like a crèche in the workplace to enable women find that balance between work and child upbringing in any way derail the fight for equality at the workplace? Do you think it could be seen as a weakness?
So I feel like what I want to say is no, ask for everything you want. And I believe in that, but I also think you do need to be concerned about whether it could be seen as a weakness. I will tell you that I just hired someone, and I found out after I hired her that she was breastfeeding during the interview process, and she had to fly for it. And she didn't even consider asking for an accommodation because she didn't want to be viewed as not being as available, or by letting everyone know that she had a young child. So I think that it's important to ask, because I think that's a shift that needs to be made in our society. And I like asking for, a crash in the workplace. That's even a harder one, because that could be something that definitely does distract. So I'll tell you a story. When my first child was born, I went back to work 3 days. And 3 days in, I asked my boss if I could go part-time, which is probably not the best thing to do when you've just been at home for 5 months, because I had some bed rest ahead of time. And the reason, though, that it worked for me is because I was already considered a very valuable employee, and they wanted to retain me. So I think when a lot of very valuable employees start asking for things that are a small accommodation at work and can really enable them to bring their whole selves to work, I think that's how change happens. So I would say, yes, it can help with work-life balance. You will probably have to make the business case for it and say, these are the pros, these are the cons, this is how I will make sure that I'm still able to work and deliver everything that I've promised on. So I hope, actually, I would love to know if you do that and how it turns out.
Thank you so much. It's nice that we're able to answer some questions. Actually, this session was scheduled to hold for 10 minutes, and currently we have 2 minutes to go. So I think we may still be able to take one more question and wrap up this section. So one more question, please. Thank you so much, Leslie. You've actually taught us a lot from your story, and we appreciate you so much. So please hand over back to Kemi. Kemi, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Darius, and thank you so much, Leslie, for that wonderful presentation. Okay, next on our agenda is introduction of speaker 2. Our second speaker is Angela Uponwa Ajiri Ogene. She's a certified safety professional, a chartered health and safety practitioner, a fellow of the Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, a chartered member of Nigeria Institute of Management, a professional member of the American Society of Safety Professionals, and a certified protection officer with over 15 years industry experience in health, safety, and security practice spread across critical government institutions, oil and gas industry, logistics firm. She has also developed and implemented strategic programs that have helped in effective ensuring safe and secured workplace and workforce in highly volatile and difficult terrains. Angela is experienced in developing top-notch occupational safety and health policies, conducting sophisticated safety inspection, risk management, incident investigation, and fleet safety management. She has recorded several remarkable successes in work-related hostage negotiation, kidnap cases, possesses positive attitude towards change, and embraces new challenges with tactics. She believes and promotes a system of transparency, integrity, and accountability. Currently, she's working as a senior manager, security and safety in Federal Inland Revenue Services, Nigeria. Join me as I welcome Angela to do our presentation now. Over to you, Angela. Kindly unmute yourself.
Okay. I hope you can see my slide. Can you?
Yes, please.
Yes, Angela. Okay. You're welcome to the second paper presentation. But unlike Leslie, is going to take a form of, it's not just going to be my experience, because I'm going to come over again during the panel session, and you will hear more of my story. So I'm going to talk about the role of mentoring in professional development. So let's look at the overview. We'll start with the abstract, then the introduction, history of mentorship, who is a mentor, who is a mentee, types of mentoring, role of mentoring, challenges of mentoring and mentorship, strategies for successful mentorship, then we conclude. Industrial revolution and futuristic cutting-edge practices of contemporary organizations have necessitated the adoption of a modified, age-long tool in the management of the prime strategic assets of firm, which is the human capital. And that classic tool is mentoring. This paper seeks to investigate the role of mentorship in professional development. It did astray the concept, the benefit of mentoring. Mentoring is crucial in any organizational growth or business innovation, both in the public and private sector. Everyone, no matter how highly placed you are in your profession, you need a mentor. All of us need mentors. So you can't get to a point in your life that you don't need a mentor. Mentors are the bedrock of development of all mentees in any skill in the workplace and organization. A mentor reduces unnecessary risk that could threaten the possibility of advancing in the field of receiving promotion. He or she also helps to finish assignments, tasks, or meet deadlines that otherwise would have been difficult to complete. According to Caffarella, mentoring is an intense, caring relationship in which persons with more experience work with less experienced persons to promote both professional and personal development. Proper mentorship should be a top priority of any organization, as it will enable staff to acquire more knowledge and skill that will enable them recognize key risk factors and ways of prevention.
Angela, can you put your slide on? Can you put your slide on PowerPoint, please? On PowerPoint mode, please, so that we can view it very well. Yeah, please.
Okay. I'm coming. Wow.
Could you just check the downside? You see you can just click on it and you should change to PowerPoint.
Is it better now?
No, it's not. It's still.
Wow. I'm trying to.
No, it's below. It's below. Like if you want to do like PowerPoint now on your this thing, just click on that icon. So
that's what I've just done.
It's not still showing like PowerPoint mode.
You can try the slideshow mode.
It's at the bottom too.
Yeah.
One of the icons down.
Wow.
Okay, if it's not working, you can go ahead.
I believe you can also find it if you're up at the top, you click on slideshow. And I believe you can also get it from there as well.
Let me see.
The icon is just like a small presentation slide on a table or a small TV on a stand. After that's like a book.
Yeah. Is it showing now? No.
No, click on it.
After animation at the top, you see slideshow. You can also click on that.
It's not just working. It's not just working for me here.
Okay, continue, please.
Okay, or do you want me to share it from my end?
Okay, share from your end then.
Okay, just stop sharing.
Okay. So going back, I minimized sharing. Oh my gosh. I'm having a lot of issues with my system here.
Okay.
So can I just continue?
Just continue. Just continue.
Okay, so let's take a brief look at the history of mentorship. The story of mentor came from Homer's Odyssey, according to the Greece own history of mentorship. About 3,000 years ago, in that Odyssey's poem, Odysseus needed to fight a war. I remember the Trojan War, and he left his family, his son and his family, in the care of Mentor. And after several years, when he came back with the help of Mentor and the child, he was able to reclaim his territory. By the late 17th, the word mentor has become a noun in the English language, meaning wise counselor. In our modern usage, a mentor is a most experienced person who acts as a trusted friend, counselor, or teacher. From the 1970s onwards, mentoring has been increasingly used in the workplace, traditionally, to help a junior member of staff to progress. So who is a mentor? A mentor to a layman, oh, my slides. I can't control from here and I can't see your slide. So to a layman, a mentor is that person that is a counselor, a teacher, a guide, someone who has gone ahead of you, someone who knows the road you're going through and has gone ahead of you on that same journey. A mentor is someone who assists others to achieve their full potential. He's that person that has been there and is willing to share his experience. Take note of that word, willingness. Without willingness, mentorship will amount to nothing. Even if you have the experience and you are not willing to share, you are not going likely to be able to achieve that which you have set out. So you must have that willingness to share for you to qualify as a mentor. A mentor is assigned by virtue of structural position, power, and status, which keeps things on track and ensures the efficient use of time. The person in receipt of mentorship may be referred to as a protege if he's a male and a protege if he's a female. Mentorship is another form of leadership. Who is a mentee? I've already said a person who is in receipt of mentorship is a mentee. A mentee is anyone who wants to learn from someone who knows and seeks their valuable advice to grow professionally or personally, or anyone who has the desire to gain from someone else's experience through a period of guidance and support. The mentee is the student who needs to absorb the mentor's knowledge and have the ambition and desire to know what to do with this knowledge. As a student, the mentee needs to practice and demonstrate what has been learned. So what are the types of mentoring? We have the traditional mentoring, which fits exactly into the description of mentoring as we have already outlined. A more experienced person sharing his knowledge with a less experienced person in the same field. Then we have one-on-one mentoring. This one-on-one mentoring is just, it has to do with just the relationship. Mind you, these types of mentoring, as I'm going to state them, is not like a hard and fast rule. The classification is based on level of experience, the number of persons involved, and the time frame. That is what was used in this classification. So at any point, you can have a blend of all the various forms, or two or more of the various forms of mentoring. So one-on-one mentoring is a pairing of one mentor to one mentee. Then we have the developmental and career mentoring, which is what we see in the Igbo apprenticeship system. You have someone that is trying to build another person to become a mirror image of him. Just like when a manager is trying to build a successor, what you are doing is the developmental or career mentoring, try to make the person a mini you. Then you have reverse mentoring. In this type of mentoring, the person that is actually giving that mentoring advice or giving that mentoring activity is not really the most experienced in the organization. But it's just that in that particular field of knowledge, he is more experienced. Take, for example, you are a manager and you go into an establishment. Most often, if you come to the establishment, you have these technicians that know their way around everywhere. And it is expected that for you to be able to succeed as a good leader or someone that wants to succeed as a professional, you should bring yourself to pick that person and make that person your mentor for that time being, to be able to get that knowledge on how to know your way around the new establishment. Don't say because I'm a boss, I cannot learn from this person. He has what you don't have. So you have to bring yourself to learn from the person. Then you have group-based mentoring, one person to more than one mentee. Then pair-based mentoring. Both of us are equal. We have the same level of experience, and we have decided that we will be helping each other. Take, for example, two people preparing for CSP exam. Maybe I am good in the mathematical aspect, you are good in economics. It's not like you are more experienced than me, but you are better than me in that particular one. I teach you, I bring you up in mathematics, then you bring me up in economics. And before you know, we are both at par. That is pair-based mentoring. Then we have situational mentoring. In situational mentoring, it is just like the name sounds, incidental. It's by chance. You need a particular knowledge, and someone is there at that time to give it to you. It is all usually short-termed. So having described the types of mentoring, what are the roles of mentoring? The focus, remember, the focus for mentoring is to develop the whole person, advise, and groom the mentee. The roles of a mentor include a coach. As a mentor, you are a coach. You should be able to identify the skills in the person you are going to mentor, and help that person to refine those skills, to meet up. Hello?
Please kindly mute your microphones, please. Kindly mute your microphone.
So, like I said, a mentor as a coach is at that stage, what you do is to identify the skill, what the person have, and you now refine the skill to what the person needs to get to his destination. As a mentor, you should be a counselor. Yes, you are supposed to be able to help your mentee to pass through difficult times, to be that shoulder that he will lean on when he gets to bridges. You are, because you've been to that place, you've been there, you've gone through it, you are more experienced. You should be able to act as a counselor, a wise one at that. Then you should be able to provide information and knowledge. As a mentor, it is expected that that particular field that the mentee needs you on, you are more experienced. So you should be able to provide timely information and required knowledge. Then you should be able to provide encouragement. That is what is lacking in a whole lot of our mentorship program. When you set an expectation that, oh, you start a mentorship relationship and the person say, I want to become a CSP. Sorry, I'm using CSP because I'm in an ASSP program. And say, oh, I want to become a CSP. And the person tried. The first stage, maybe he wrote his ASP and passed. You should celebrate it as though that is the CSP itself, because it is a success, or he might not have been there. You don't know how far-reaching a pat on the back by a mentor can be to a mentee. Then identification of goal. A mentor should be able to identify the goals. Sometimes the young professional will come to you, he has so much in his mind, but he really doesn't know how to go about it. So you will help him to be able to set his goal, identify, put it in a proper way that he will know. He will know what to do. So you are going to be able to help him to identify his goal, package them in such a way that they are achievable. So what are the challenges? everything that is good has its own challenge. What are the challenges of mentoring and mentorship? Number one, lack of motivated mentors. Oftentimes we have people that go into mentorship but are not really willing to give it their all. That is why in the introduction, I said a mentor, the thing that matters most in mentorship is that the mentor should be willing at every given time to share the desired knowledge. And some of them, either because they feel they passed through a particular struggle and they expect, I don't really know what motivates, what made some mentors not to be willing to give their all. So as a mentor, sometimes you run, as a mentee, you run into a situation where the mentors are not willing to share their experience and they are not motivated to work with you. Then go setting for mentees. It is one thing that is lacking in some mentorship program. Somebody just come to you, walk up to you, I want you to become my mentor. You ask the person, in what area do you really want me to mentor you? I just want to be like you. No, you from the beginning, there should be a goal. Oh, I want this aspect. I want to be a shattered health and safety practitioner. Oh, I love the way you present. I want this. There should be a goal so that when you achieve that goal, you know that you have already achieved it. Then effective matching. Some of us, we are carried away with titles, with names. And at the end of the day, the mentee and the mentor, they don't have a match. You consider a lot of things when you are matching or when you are picking a mentor, you are picking a mentee. Both of you should have a connection. You should be able to communicate with yourself. And there should be that relationship that you will be there. If you are the type that you hardly pick up and you are saying that, I want a mentor a mentee that will always call me. You want our mentorship to be on telephone basis. It's not going to work. Then another thing is open feedback, and this is a fallback of effective matching. When there is no effective matching, there will be no appropriate feedback, because when you are scared of your mentor, for example, you hold him up so high that you feel he's not approachable. I wonder how you'll be able to tell him that you are not getting value for your mentorship program. So you have to get the matching right, then be willing to give feedback. If you are not getting along, please be open to tell your mentor that you are not getting along. And as you as a mentor, if your mentee is not meeting up to your expectation, don't go to it. Tell him or her that you are not meeting up. This is what I want you to do. Then provide structure. Your mentorship program should be structured. You don't just wake up and say, oh, this person is my mentor. 5 o'clock in the morning, you will call the person, or maybe 3 times. No, plan it. We are going to be having virtual program. We are going to be meeting one-on-one, or I'm going to be sending some materials for you to read, and at the end of this, I'll be able to evaluate you. It should be properly structured. Then you should have a mechanism for tracking the outcome. So now that we have looked at the challenges of mentoring and mentorship, what are the strategies for successful mentorship? Because to every challenge, there must be a solution. Consider what form of mentorship suits your needs. Consider what form of mentorship suits your needs. You have a need you want to meet. Please ensure that this mentorship program, if you are picking, for example, you have 200 mentees. Believe you me, one-on-one cannot work, because you will not have a balanced life. As a woman, you have one-on-one for 200 people. How will you take care of your family? How will you take care of your work? So be on a realistic program. So the first thing is to ensure that you consider what form of mentorship suits your needs. Assess your readiness for mentorship. Many people wish to be mentored, but they are not ready. They are not mentally ready. They are not psychologically ready. They are not ready to take instruction. Your mentor can be younger than you, can be far younger than you. And you see, your mentor gives you an assignment, and the next thing you're like, no, it's not a do or die affair. You after all, you're not feeding me. With or without you, I'm working in a Total, I'm working in Shell, I'm a senior manager, I'm this. Yes, your mentor may not even be as rich as you are. He may not be as connected as you are, but at that particular time, you need him. So you have to bring yourself to that point that you are ready for mentorship. Then when you have programmed your mind that I am ready for mentorship, then you look for mentors. We have so many avenues. The WISE have mentorship program, ASSP have mentorship program, IOSH has mentorship program. Then even in the net, you have micro mentors. You have a lot of mentorship program. In your chapter, in your ASSP chapter, everywhere, professional bodies, you have a lot of them. You have a lot of mentorship program. Try and take advantage of these avenues and get a mentor or a mentee. Then set expectation. Tell yourself that at the end of this day, this person is my mentee. Because for me, I won't be able to like say, okay, at the end of this program, this is what I want this person to be. And if my mentee is not what he is or what we have set at, I feel disappointed. So set expectation. You shouldn't be a mentor that is satisfied when your mentee is not making it. You set out at a program, the same satisfaction that goes for the mentee should be that will go for the mentor. Because his success should be your success. Her success should be your success. It should be a collective thing. Because the truth is that if we as women must have a voice, if we as women must defeat the status quo, we must change the narrative. We have to help each other. And mentorship is that way we can help each other. Then transition thoughtfully. A lot of us, we don't know how to end our mentorship programs. Whether you like it or not, network, liaison, connection will help you. So don't just end because I want to become a CSP and now I'm a CSP. You're my mentor, I don't need him again. No. Transition successfully. You may not need him for that particular purpose, but you might need him because he has his CSP, for example, and he is now working or doing something. Or probably you may need him to know how to get your certification, to get your recertification. So don't just end your mentorship program on a very bad note. Some of us, we transit badly, especially when you need a job or you feel this purpose of my mentorship is to get a job. Now I've gotten a job. Your mentor will call you, will not pick no. And I've gotten a situation where my mentors, even really when I don't need anything from them, they can delegate me and say, I have a paper to present in so place. Please, will you present? Because of what he has done for me, that relationship, and we want to cultivate it. And whether you like it or not, there are some levels that your mentors can get to that you cannot get to. So you need to ride on their wings. Those little favors that you do for them may help you to be able to get more connected and get more network and get more visibility and more exposure. In conclusion, Nwabeze and Ozioko observe that no institution can exist without older and more experienced members passing on wisdom acquired over years to new members. An effective mentoring program can strengthen a professional performance in many areas, including quality improvement, risk management, personnel recruitment and retention, staff education, leadership team, and integration. Indeed, mentoring is important, not only because of the knowledge and skills mentees can learn from a mentor, but also because mentoring provides professional socialization and personal support to facilitate success in the development of professionals. And this enhances chances for success and greater career advancement potentials. Indeed, I will say everyone needs a mentor. Let's hold each other's hand and make sure we all succeed together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela. Wonderful presentation. I'm going to invite Dearest to come and call the Q&A. Dearest, over to you.
Thank you, Kemi. Angela, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. You've actually given us an insight into what mentoring is all about. Thank you so very much. Please, we are going now into the Q&A section. We have 10 minutes for this session. If you have questions, please use the raise hand button or drop your questions in the chat box. Okay, so I'm seeing a question from Dr. Ogeshi Ukandu. He is asking, what are the qualities of a good mentor? Over to you, Ajiri.
Okay, the number one quality that is very important is that you should be liberal with knowledge. You should be enthusiastic about knowledge sharing. Then you should be an active listener. You should not be the person, because the truth is, some of these people will come to you. If you're not an active listener, you will not be able to set the goals right for your mentee. So don't listen to talk, because you are up there. You really, most times we conclude even before they get there. So don't listen to talk. Be an active listener, somebody that we're ready to understand what the person is talking, internalize it, and you are able to set up a program. Then patience. It takes a whole lot of patience, because the truth is that this person seeking for this knowledge, most times they are either frustrated, maybe they have tried over and over and over and over and over again. And when they come to you, they expect that you should be patient. You like a married school child, and you tell the child 1 + 1, you like he's counting. And you'll be wondering, is it 1 + 1? So you should come down to their pace and be patient with them. Imagine when you were in their position, put yourself in their position, and that brings empathy into it again. A good mentor should be very good with empathy, should empathize a lot. Be their pain when they come to you. Then another thing that you should be friendly. You should be liberal with compliments. Don't be a sadist. Don't be too hard on them. Because when you are mentoring somebody, if you're not careful, you can break the person. So be careful, be mild, but be strict. Don't be that kind of mentor that can be easily swayed from left to right. No, you have to be firm, because you have to ensure that the person you are mentoring is accountable. And the only way the person can be accountable to you is when you are firm. I give you an assignment, you should turn it in a week. Ensure the person turns it in a week. And if it doesn't turn it in, let there be penalties. You understand? So there should be that firmness, and you as a mentor, you have to work on your knowledge over and over again. Make sure you are not mentoring people on a stale knowledge. When there is opportunity to learn over and over and over and over again. Don't stop learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another question also from Dr. Ogechi Okandu. Is there any particular methodology of mentoring?
Okay. Like I said in my presentation, you have several methods of mentoring. The traditional, the one-on-one, you and the person is more experienced. The person is more experienced than a less experienced person. You come together, you draw your plan. One-on-one, I meet with you. This is my challenge. This is what I want to be. And this is where I want to get to. And I will set up a program and help you to get there. Then we have a group mentoring. One person can pick 10 persons and say, okay, I will mentor them. Once in a while, you bring them together, you give either virtually or through physical meetings, and you set, like what we have in most preparatory workshops for exams, for certifications, that is group mentoring. Then apart from that, you have this, you have various models. You have the apprenticeship. Is like literally walking the person through every step that you have done. Then you have some people that they have some level of experience already. It's not as if you are leading them through. They are just like, they just want to perfect things. So what those people just need from you, when they get to any particular stumbling block, they fall back to you. So you have different types. So you know the needs, you assess the person, know what he wants. Is it the person that I have to guide through every step of the way, or the person that I need to just put through whenever he runs into 1 or 2 challenges?
Thank you very much, Ajiri. Thank you so much. We have another question from Uchenna Charity. Wonderful presentation. Well done, ma. Please, how can a mentee set her goal? Because most at times we don't know the best to present the wants/need are right?
Okay, so the first thing for every person that wants to go into mentorship is for you to identify what are your career goals. You, the person that wants to, what do you want to be? What do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Like 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I saw myself that I want to be a fellow of ISPON. I want to be a chartered health and safety practitioner. I want to be a certified safety professional. So what did I do? I started by studying MOUs. I'm already a member of ISPON. What is the MOU that connects ISPON with this? So I used that MOU to get my CSP done. After CSP, I was like, I didn't really have information so much about IOSH Nigeria chapter because I was studying more of my own. So I saw the connection. I was like, okay, this is how to go about it. And immediately, one of those days, I saw that IOSH had a program in Nigeria. And when I was like, oh, so this thing is here. I started reaching out to those people, the contacts that were there. I was like, okay, how can I? Remember, I got to meet Dapo. I called Kemi. I started calling people. One thing, we should leave our comfort zone. We might be rejected. It's not every method I want to listen to. You might be rejected. But the first thing is to set your career goal and try to reach out. Try to reach out. Call them. Out of 4, 3 might turn you down, but there will be that one person that will be willing. But you must have your expectation of where you want to be. Because if you are not going anywhere, people will not help you to get there. You must have a destination. And when you have the destination, go through, search, research, connect with people, attend programs, attend webinars, attend conferences, and your horizon will be broadened.
Thank you so much, Shajiri. I think we have 2 minutes to go, so I think we can still take one more question. And here's the question coming from Naomi Goyo. What is the major difference between a mentor and a coach? Both mentoring and coaching are used interchangeably, and it's getting confusing.
Okay, like I said, if you look at what I said, a mentor is a coach, is a counselor, is a teacher. So you have so much that goes into mentorship than just coaching. Coaching has to do with just working on the skills of the person. Just take football, a football coach. Imagine that. What the person is interested is than that. How do you score? If you are this, how do you defend you understand? But if it is a mentor, a career mentor of that person, they will not just look at how you are going to score. He is still interested in your life off the field. Maybe you did not perform well. Why the coach will be hard on you? You should have done this. Your mentor will pick you back and say, no, don't bother. I was there before. I made the same mistake you made. So mentorship is a bigger umbrella, and coaching is just a subset of mentoring. So when coaching is just in a particular skill, mentoring is much more. You are trying to make a whole person to be able to reach his destination.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate you. Thank you for the whole talk on mentoring. In fact, everything that looks clouded to me before this presentation, they are all very clear. In fact, right now, I think I understand mentoring very well. Thank you so much for the way you hit on the target points that can make us to actually get value out of mentoring. One thing is going into it, and another thing is getting value out of it. Thank you. We appreciate you. God bless you. So I'm handing over back to Kemi. Kemi, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Deres, for anchoring that Q&A section. And a very big thank you to Angela and Leslie for the wonderful presentation. So in life, sometimes our mentors could be very busy, but we should not get discouraged. We should just continue reaching out to them till they have our time. Definitely, they will give us results when we need. So don't get discouraged. So we are done with the first section of this blending workshop. We are moving now to the preliminary section, which that will be anchored by Bukola Ayo. So Buki, can you unmute yourself, and over to you. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the plenary session. In this session, we'll be tackling different questions that has to do with the challenges that women encounter in the workplace and the reaction from men in the workplace, and even some kind of challenges that men could even encounter too in the workplace due to working with women. And we have some panelists on the board that will be tackling the questions. We have Christina Roll, we have Angela, we also have Dr. Olive, Engineer Bada, and John Gia. So it's going to be an enlightening session, and we hope that at the end of this session, we'll be able to learn a lot from it. So we'll be starting up with Christina Roll on our question and answer session.
Okay, their profile first, please.
Yeah. Can you share the profile, please?
Okay.
Okay, so on her profile, Christina Roll is a workers' compensation specialist with Chubb Risk Engineering Services based in Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Christina started her career over 15 years ago as an environmental safety management and leadership as a civilian with the US Marine Corps. She has been with Chubb Risk Engineering Services since 2012. Due to her experience and unique skill set, Christina specializes in workplace hazard identification, evaluation, mitigation, and control in a wide variety of industries, including construction, hospitality, manufacturing, and public services. Christina is responsible for collaborating with clients to identify sources of loss and then assisting with development of actions to accomplish their goals, to mitigate those lost resources. Christina is only one of 6 certified industrial hygienists within Chubb Risk Engineering. Christina serves in volunteer leadership roles at local and global events of ASSP and continues to provide further training and development to colleagues around the nation through her presentations and speaking engagements during ASSP conferences. So can we give a round of applause to Christina Rowe while we commence the session? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Christina, with all your years of experience, we know that you might have encountered some challenges on the career ladder. How did you reach your level of success given the gender gap when you started?
I was very lucky to have sponsors, is how I refer to them, but they were essentially my employers. They were the people I directly reported to, but I was very blessed in that they supported what I was trying to do. We were on the same page in terms of initiatives, in terms of goals that we had, and knowing where we wanted to go. And then they just supported what I was trying to do. My position within the U.S. Marine Corps when I was working there, not only was I the only woman at my level, I was also younger than everyone else by probably 10 years or more. So I was the gender gap, I was the age gap, it was all of the above. And I definitely had those challenges where there were those who tried to undermine what I was doing, they would go to my leadership and contradict things that I had said or I had done. And I think where I was able to succeed is because of my communication, because I was always straightforward with what I did, but I also had integrity with what I did. And I always had the support of my leadership because they knew they could trust me, because I had never given them reason not to. And they were aware of conversations, and, you know, we were on the same page with everything. So over the years, that's kind of where all of my success has come from. I've just always been open and honest, as much as I can be with what I do. I do it with the utmost integrity that I have, and I do my absolute best with what I can. And that's probably some of the biggest things that I've been able to do from a success standpoint. It's worth noting too that all of the people that I worked for, all of them have been men. So I was, you know, I'm a huge proponent of men being champions for women in safety profession. I love that we have men on the call today. I love that we have men as members of WISE. You know, your involvement, the involvement of men in helping to promote women and be champions for women and be coaches for women is crucial. So yeah, I wanted to state that as well, just to give context to the situation, I guess.
All right, thank you so much, Christina, for that. The system is, all the questions will come up after the discussion of the different panelists. So for the questions for the different panelists, please drop your questions in the chat box. So Christina, just hang in there, we'll still come back to you. But for now, we're going to a male panelist with us, and he is Engineer Bada. So can we have his profile, please? Engineer Bada is an outstanding HSE professional who is currently Operations Safety Lead for Total E&P Nigeria in the area of engineering, construction, and project disciplines. Also, the HSE and epidemiology study focal point of Total's COVID-19 Special Task Force. He has about 24 years of continuous experience in the oil and gas upstream business, with 6 of these years working with ExxonMobil and 18 with Total. He is a senior member of SPE with 22 years of continuous membership and has participated in SPE activities in many places in the world. Adebola has won Adebola has won service and professional awards at different levels in SPE and in other professional organizations. Since 1999, when he joined SPE, he has provided selfless service to the community at large. Currently the chairman, SPE Port Harcourt Section 2020-2021, and the membership chair of SPE Nigerian Council. He is also an avid volunteer for SPE International in different roles. Adebola Bada is a passionate advocate of boy and girl child education and development. He is involved in STEM SDG 2030, events coordination, and speaks in several organizations all over the world. So can we give him a round of applause? All right, thank you very much. And it's nice to have you on the board. I hope you are not feeling out of place that it's a female program.
It's okay. I'm used to it anyway.
All right. Okay, we are very happy to have you on the board. So we would like you to tell us what has been your experience working with women over the years. And what are the remarkable identified strengths peculiar to the professional women compared to men? Because I know as women, we have some strengths more than the men. So can you tell us about that? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, you are giving me a very leading question, which I really liked. Okay, leading question. Thank you for the expo telling me that I have to agree with women. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Wise of the ESSP. Sorry, this citation was sent from the SP Secretariat, so I had no time actually to prep it a little bit because I've been a member of ASSE, which was it's called then before ASSP, continuously till now for, I don't know, maybe 20 years or something like that. I pay every year, but to be sincere, I've not been really been engaging with the Nigerian aspects of it. I will try to do that. And so I'm happy to be here. So speaking about the remarkable identified strength, especially the aspects to do with women that I've worked with, I think I'll focus a little bit on that. But first of all, I think I would like to digress to explain that we have for the Sustainable Development Goals, which is the gender equality. We have considerable benefits for gender equality. And I think when people should take time to really look at this, the objectives and the benefits of it. And then they will see a lot of aspects that people have written about, have engaged about, and then they will see the strengths of professional women, in fact. I'd add for maybe more than 10 to 14 years thereabout, I had no woman, so to speak, to be my boss. So it would have been difficult for me today to really give you a hands-on experience. But when I went on expatriation out of Nigeria, I had the opportunity of working with 2 women that are my bosses for the first time. So you can imagine, I was a bit skeptical to see, okay, because I know the aspect, I have a wife and I know the aspect of having a wife. Okay, now to be a boss, I have to now try to understand how to work with her, you know. So I was a bit very lowly, try to do my work, you know, do my work excellently, and then just to see how we can go ahead. It's very tricky, you know. And but surprisingly, I will tell anyone that the aspect of a woman being a professional leader, he has a lot of strength than weakness that a man has. First of all, I've seen that the first thing they were asking me is that, how's your family? Are you guys settling in? This, that. And for the male counterpart, honestly, I'm not sure. To be sincere, they will not ask you such things. What they just want you to walk. You could be with a male boss for God knows. No one is going to know anything about your family. But those are the key things that also make work to really go well, you know. And I noticed this. So, and I feel also that women collaborate a lot. They like a lot of collaboration. They speak to you, they check with others. So I won't try to compare them. I will just go straight to what I witnessed with my bosses that were women. So they collaborate a lot. They like to check. They like to make everything that is okay with everyone. But you also notice that, in fact, you are doing a lot of work. With women, women mostly are like perfectionists, so to speak. They want everything to go right, okay? They don't really like to be blamed, okay? So, and that helped a lot, you know, because I'm almost like a perfectionist, so it matches, it goes straight well for me. And also, I've noticed also that they are calm under pressure. You know, they are calm, they are resolute. You know, it's not no panic. They take their time. So seeing them also, you have that opportunity to organize yourself, to plan yourself very well, and then you don't panic in front of them, because the way their own the way they expose things to you, the way they ensure that the situation around is calm, no matter the emergency, no matter the situation. I've seen that also, and with most ladies. They also, as I've said the other time, paying attention to details also goes along the line with being a perfectionist. So I've seen that also with ladies. And they are very open, okay? Very, very open. I think that is one strength. A lot of things ladies will tell you, even though they are your bosses. If you have a male counterpart boss, we never tell you such things. So also being open to you, it gives you that advantage also to be open to them. And then you can easily work with people that understand you, and then you understand them. Because if you don't understand people, it's very difficult to work with them. I mean, the person should be able to joke sometimes with you. The people should be able to know exactly if your day is going good or not. So that openness is what I have seen also with most ladies in that category. And I will not forget, I think one of the speakers also mentioned about empathy. Empathy also is one good trait that I've noticed also with women. And you can select 10 guys, one of them may have empathy, 9 doesn't have. It's just not the style. Okay, they want to be a band, so to speak. So the empathy part is very good. They feel concerned about others, you know, and all these things makes you will want to work for people like that. Okay, so for me, I really see these traits to be very, very key in one of the strengths I've noticed with women. And I think finally I'll drop this. Also the intuition, towards what is going around when it's work or it's family, the feelings that they have is very genuine. So this kind of traits creates a good ambience and advantage in a work environment. So I think I may stop here because I have so loads of advantages and being of a professional woman that if you work with them, and then you will see. But at the same time, you have to do your job. I think most women are no nonsense. We have to know that. You have to do your job. You have to be very good at what you are doing. If you don't know, you ask. Don't pretend you know what you don't know. So with this, I think I will just summarize like that. I think that's all for me for now.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for that. So you're telling us that for the men that are present here, they shouldn't feel scared when they have the opportunity of working with women as their bosses. All right, thank you so much, sir. Okay, so if you have questions for Engineer Bada, please drop your questions in the chat section. So we move to the next panelist, Dr. Olive Ogele. Dr. Olive is a consultant pediatrician in Central Hospital, Warri. She's also currently the medical director of St. George's Specialist Clinic, Warri. She attended the Medical School of University of Lagos. Her postgraduate training was at Delta State University Teaching Hospital. She is a fellow of West African College of Physicians. She's currently a member of the American Association of Medical Review Officers and also the head of Pediatrics Department of the Central Hospital of Warri. So can we give Dr. Olive Ogele a round of applause? So welcome to this session. We know that coming from the medical field, there are a lot of things that you want to you would want to share with us while coming from the medical field. So we would like you to tell us if there are any significant health challenges when there is no work-life balance. Because, you know, most of the time while working, as a working woman, you want to meet up at the office, you want to meet up at home. And if there is no balance, what are the health challenges that can be experienced? Thank you.
Okay. If there's no work-life balance, I think most challenges you will have will be mental. It has to do with your mental health. You know, if there's no balance, and it's important to have a good work-life balance, because where you're not able to manage your life outside work and your life in the workplace, most of the time it starts with the mental breakdown. Thereafter, you now have other, because most mental breakdowns lead to physical challenges too. Mental health, depression will lead to weight gain. You lose your concentration, and then you start making mistakes at work, and could also cost you your job. So it's important to have a good work-life balance. And also, like I said, it's mainly mental. Most of the problem is mental health. Mental health is actually the main issue that is at risk, and that will now give rise to other things, you know, and particularly for women, you know. But the good thing about a woman that, well, there's a difference between a job and a career. A woman that is in a career, what I've found is that they're able to compartmentalize. They're able to deal with, keep work at home. I mean, work and activities happening in the home, at home, so that they can actually make things work. Because it's always important to be able to make sure you don't bring the problems of the home or problems out on the other aspects of your life to work, because that would reflect on your productivity, especially if you are working in a male-dominated work area where women, you know, most of the time they are perceived as not weaker, but I think somehow that as a woman, you have to do a lot more to prove yourself. So it's important, you know, that you actually maintain a balance. Try and maintain a balance through all the ways the other speakers have highlighted. So that's that.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Olive, for that. So basically what you're trying to tell us is, while working, not just for the women, but even for the men, while working, you should try to create that gap between work life and home life, so that mentally we won't run into health issues.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. It's important you don't try not to bring work home. Try not to bring the problems of work home. If I see, like in my work environment, it's male dominated. It's still male dominated, you know, at least, and we're bridging the gap. If I remember the first time my first day at work at the government hospital, 2005, I mean, I was the second female doctor. In fact, the older one was so excited that there was another female. So most of the problems we have as women, ability to multitask, men don't have such, well, most of them don't have those problems. So it's important, you know, as women, okay, men too, but as women, it's important that we try to maintain that balance, because and what will help you maintain that balance is having a good support system. You know, having a good support system, either at home, either your spouse or your family. For those that are not married, having a good family support system. Or for those that are married, having a support system, because, you know, at work, it's competitive. You know, you're trying to outdo each other. Even like in my line of work, you're trying to prove your worth. So you don't want to be competing at work and be competing at home too. I mean, the stress will be too much. So it's important, you know, you try and have a good support system. You try and take care of your mental health. You know, at work, people feel women are emotional, you know, and so my advice to what I'll tell most of the time, I tell my female colleagues, the younger ones, is try not to be emotional. Keep things work related. Don't, because most of the time, like the previous speaker, or something is said about being skeptical, or maybe, well, let's say skeptical, he was having a female boss and say, no, he had a wife and he wondered how he would relate. But I always tell people that the same way the men have wives at home and then they have to relate to their female bosses, women will also have husbands at home. And so we need to also try to relate, because how you treat your husband at home is not necessarily the way you treat your male boss. So the challenges are the same, but in response to your question, the problems, like I said, most of the time, mental. It's mental stress. Mental will now lead to other physical manifestations. So it's important we try to maintain a balance, because mental could be, like I said, depression, could even be the guilt of separation, separating from your children. You know, I suffered that guilt too. Initially, earlier on in my career, it could be guilt. It could be also that feeling of stagnation. Also, those are all things that lead to depression. So it's important, you know, to have that balance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Olive, for that. So participants, please drop your questions for Dr. Olive in the chat section. While we move to the next panelist, Mr. John Gia. He is a professional expert with over 22 years in-depth experience in health, safety, and environment in the oil and gas industry, onshore and offshore, working for Shell in Nigeria and internationally. He is experienced in providing relevant HSE leadership and expertise at senior levels across the industry in projects, production, operations, asset integrity, turnaround and maintenance execution, logistics, real estate, among others. To his credit is also a track record of successfully leading HSE support and delivering complex and high-value projects that has to do with HSE in design, commissioning startups, and steady state operations without major incidents. Some of these projects include Cotton Channel, Okoloma and Gbaran Ube gas plants, Afam power plants, Bonga FPSO deepwater major turnaround maintenance. As a Shell qualified assessor, he assessed health, safety, security, environment, and social performance competencies of several senior leaders in Shell locally and globally. He is currently the Deputy Vice President, HSE at ELS Oil and Gas Limited. He belongs to several professional organizations, some of which are ASSP, IOSH, NAPE, Air and Waste Management Association, USA. So can we give Dr. John Gia a round of applause as we welcome him to this session? Thank you. So welcome to this session. I hope you are not feeling odd in the midst of women.
If you can hear me, I'm not feeling odd.
Okay, we're glad. We're glad to know that you're comfortable. And the question we have for you, we know that in the nature, your field of work is mostly male dominated. So can you now tell us what women need to know about working with male counterparts and the male expectation of women? Because most of the time, since your field is male dominated, you may have some expectations from the women. You want to see some things from the women. So what are those expectations that you have from the women, so that in the process, we'll be able to have a harmonious relationship in achieving a common goal? Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Good evening, all the fine ladies on the call and other participants. Number one, I want to dissociate myself from the title doctor because I'm not one, either medically or with a PhD. I think I'm hoping to get one end of this year, but it's not yet there. So I'm just John Gia.
All right.
Okay. It's a great one. I thought that you should have asked Mr. Dada that question. He would have treated him better than myself. But it's amazing because I live among women, my wife and their 2 daughters, and I have expectations from them. I give you an example. My daughter has a Master of Science in biomedical engineering at University of Texas at San Antonio. And when she was going, I told her that there are many startups that have become big businesses in the US and around the world, which were brought about by students. So I'm expecting that by the time she's going to finish her first degree, she should do a research that will be world-class and will be reckoned with. Good enough, by the time she was finishing, she led her team and they had, they did a device, a medical device, which has a US patent as we speak. So when I work with ladies, I had 2 ladies which were my supervisors. Early in my career, 2 years, 1999, I had the first lady who was my supervisor. And like Mr. Dada, it was difficult because that was the first time I was going to have a lady. But I felt that I should do my best. So I went to her and I said, "Ma, I'm here to work for you. And just let me know exactly what you will want me to do. And I'm going to submit to you the best I can, like I submit to any other person. Don't feel threatened." So I don't expect that a professional lady should feel threatened by the presence of a man, whether she is in the midst of women or in the midst of men. Professionalism is about what you do. The brain is the same. It's just that ladies, because of who they are, the women, they have a bit of roles which they play. And as a man, I recognize that perfectly. And that's why I made up my mind from day one that my lady supervisor, she has more than her work. And when she gets back home, she still has several other things to do. So I must make sure I support her in such a way that I take off the burden. Now, what I don't expect from a woman at work is thinking that because I am a man, she will have to shout in order to domineer, to be domineering. I expect that a woman should take me as a professional colleague, just like I take her as a professional colleague. Unfortunately, my first challenge with this first lady was that she will leave her job and call me to go do the job when it is like an hour or 2. You know, when it's like an hour or 2. So one day I say, "Madam, please, I am going to try my best, but I expect you to let me know way ahead of time since this job was not an emergency." She got angry, quite angry. And of course, I was angry, but then she was not yet married. So I had to tell her, "Madam, you have to respect me. I'm not your houseboy. You don't shout at me in that way. You have to respect me. I will respect you." So as a man, I expect that ladies, professional ladies should be respectful of men. And of course, men should clearly respect the ladies because it is about professionalism. Finally, my second supervisor, very powerful lady, very respectful of everybody, but she was a strong professional woman. And when I mean strong, she was good at what she does and strong at making sure that the job was done. I give you one example. She got to the flow station and she needed to check whether the emergency preparedness was intact and people knew how to respond. And she went and shut down the plant, pressed automatic shutdown, and the whole plant went down. No man could have ever done that, not one. And she did it. So as a man, you expect that a professional woman should be strong at doing her job so that nobody sees her as a woman because she's a woman. Finally, before I voluntarily, I took a voluntary retirement from Shell in 2018. This same supervisor was on admission and she came and saw me, and I was on admission because I had a panic attack, which became what the medical doctors called anxiety disorder. And I was given all kinds of sedatives to sleep and so on, until she came in, she said, Mr. Gia, I had panic attack myself. This is not about medicine. So she gave me some videos and I watched, and after that, I left the hospital. Until today, as you see me, I'm doing pretty well. So men expect that ladies shouldn't throw away the care that they have, that they are naturally made to have. The only thing is that because ladies are passionate, they could be open, they can be easily exploited. So ladies should keep their passion and they should not release themselves to being messed up, exploited at work because they want to show concern and so on. They should always be strictly professional at work, even when they are trying to be interested in how other people are doing well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for that. So in other words, you're telling us that as women, while working with men, rather, we should always remember too that respect is reciprocal in order not to have clashes in the course of doing our jobs. So thank you very much, sir, for that. Our next panelist is Angela Ajiri-Ogene. She is a BCSP certified safety professional, a chartered health and safety practitioner, CMOSH, a fellow of the Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, a chartered member of Nigeria Institute of Management, a professional member of American Society of Safety Professionals, and a certified protection officer with over 15 years industrial experience in health, safety, and security practice, spread across critical government institutions, oil and gas industry, and logistics firms. She has developed and implemented strategic programs that have helped in effectively ensuring safe and secured workplace and workforce in highly volatile and difficult terrains. Highly experienced in developing top-notch occupational safety and health policies, conducting sophisticated safety inspections, risk management, incident investigations, and fleet safety management. She has recorded several remarkable successes in work-related hostage negotiations and kidnap cases. She possesses positive attitude towards change and embraces new challenges with tact. She believes and promotes systems of transparency, integrity, and accountability. She currently works as a senior manager of the Security and Safety Department in the Federal Inland Revenue Services of Nigeria. So once again, can we give her a round of applause as we welcome her to the panel section? Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's good to have you back again. And going by what we heard from the previous speaker, have you ever worked with a male chauvinist, and how did you prove yourself in the course of working with such a man?
Okay, so as you can see in my profile, I'm a security and safety manager, and you should expect that once in my lifetime, I must have worked with a male chauvinist. Because after time, in my class, in my team, I could be the only female there. So what I do when I meet, so I've met a lot of them. They will just be all out to undermine you. They feel every woman that is in a team, you don't deserve it. It's just a favor that is done to you. So I start off early to establish my authority, to make the person know that I have the right skill, I have the right qualification, I have the right competence, and I deserve my space in that team. So when you do that, then you put them in their place. Let me give you an example. There was an assignment I had, and it was a critical security assignment. And we're about 40-something persons, and I was the only female. And when I got there, it was an all-night assignment. And when I got there, the first thing that came to the person's mind was like, it was a volunteering assignment. The first thing that came to one of the major chauvinists, you couldn't just hide it. It was like, who suggested this person into this team? Do you think it's a woman thing we are doing here? Do you know what we are doing here? Well, do you know that we're supposed to work throughout the night? Who did you leave your children with? Who did you leave your husband with? And I was shocked. In the presence of everybody, he wanted to talk me down. And I said, well, for your information, I'm a certified protection officer. I've done a lot of series of trainings on security. I started reading out my profile before him. And I said, you are not more qualified than me in this thing. And I'm all out. I've taken care of my kids. I've taken care of my husband. And I'm here to give it my all. So leave me to worry about how my kids and my husband will fare. So we started the job around 12 p.m., around 12 midnight. This man was already dozing off. And one thing that helped me too, when I am faced with this chauvinist, I look at it that I see an imaginary cloud, or a cloud of women sharing me up and telling me, you can do it, you are doing it for us, you are trailblazing for us, go and make us proud, you are carrying a generational body. So that kind of embodied me to face any challenge that I am faced with. So at the end of the assignment, by the next morning, me and the male chauvinist were friends, and he was telling me, no, you are one of a kind. Women are not usually like this. There must be something in you that made you to be like this. I was like, no, you shouldn't come with that blanket impression, that stereotype that women are weak, women don't deserve, is a favor that a man did to them, maybe one thing that brought the woman into the team. No, we have a lot of women that have paid their dues, they are seasoned and they are qualified. And today I'm happy. I'm happy in the safety profession. We have a lot of women in Nigeria, for example, that have their CSP, that have their CMAYOJ, that are fellow, and are making us proud. So that is one thing that they are always everywhere. But as a woman, you have to stand your ground and don't be rude, because when you become rude, it will be expected. They expect some qualities from you when you meet them. They will attack you. Don't be rude. Win them over with your competence. I can remember another example. I remember Mr. Bada. When the CSP workshop they did in Owerri, he just reminded me of it. And there was so much. I volunteered that day. And I know I could sense, they've said so much. Angela, the CSP is going to do. When I came to the class, you could see the look on most of their face. And I have this mustache or two that is not every matter. So when I came, you could see the look on their face. I sat in one place, if you can remember. By the end of the day, and when I had the opportunity to prove myself, I did. So as a woman, don't be discouraged when you meet them. Just set out. Don't give room for them to talk you down. Don't be rude. Be that female that you are meant to be. But even at that, show them that you are competent. Show them that you deserve that space. Show them that you have what it takes to be in that position you are. And believe you me, they will have a reorientation. And that is not going to just help you. It's going to help other women that person is going to meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela, for that. You know, when you gave the example of the SPE workshop, it reminded me of a training that I had one time. And it was a class of 54 men. And when you mentioned your stature, I just looked at myself and I was like, oh, she's actually reminding me of that particular class that I had. And when I attended the class, I got there in time. And as I got there in time, I just sat down behind and the men were coming in and they were looking around like, because my colleague that was also an instructor is a young guy. So seeing a lady sitting behind close to the table with a laptop, they were now looking like they could not really understand what was going on. So by the time the moderator of the training came in and said, well, our instructor is around. She is Ms. Bukola Ayo with over 10 years of experience in HSE. She's a trainer, this. And the next thing, all of them were turning back to peep and see this person. And by the time I got up and went forward to start the class, they were looking at me like, what can this small girl teach?
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I was done with what I was doing, one of the men came to me and he just took a slight bow and he said, please give me 5. You know your onions, you know what you're doing. So really, it's something that I think most of us here have had 1 or 2 experiences in that aspect. So thank you so much. We'll still come back to you for another question. So just hang in there. So our next question goes to Mr. John. We're coming back to you, sir. So have you worked under a female leader? And what was your experience like? And can you say that women make good bosses? Mr. John, are you still here with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. Actually, I thought I almost answered that question. I worked under 2 ladies, 2 females, and for time, I couldn't say much about the last one. That was my general manager before I left. Till today, I know that she had continued to ask after me and my family because she was thoroughly professional. I think in the field, there was simply nothing that you went to her in terms of problem solving that she never had a solution to. She would challenge you to a point where you just have no option but to prove who you are and what the team is all about. Before I left, she had turned the safety and environment profession in the company to a level that we never had before. So that's why I said, and she was first female manager who could go to a flow station, and in order to check the preparedness of the flow station people to respond to emergency, she could go and shut down production. And those who have been in the oil industry, they know what it means to shut down production, not control shutdown, but on an emergency shutdown, the systems that can go wrong and restarting the station. So even when I was to retire and I went to her, I took early retirement and I said, Madam, please, I want to retire. She said, no, you're not going to retire. we still have work for you. We want your experience to be useful for the younger ones. And I said, please, madam, you know where I'm coming from. I think it's time for me to go. And she eventually permitted me to, she approved my application to retire. So women are good leaders. I know my wife is a good leader. Mr. Dada talked about intuition about women. That is something very peculiar, and God has just given that to women, even in leadership, both at home and in leadership. That is a kind of capability which they bring on the job that makes them stand out different from men. You know, sometimes you are going for senior leadership activity and you are going together, you have put your stuff together and you want to go and have a discussion. And suddenly this lady will say, hey, JJ, please, I think we need to do some, I feel in my mind that they will go this way. Let's cover ourselves. Let's make sure we have everything we need. Even though they didn't ask us about that, but you know, some of these leaders, when you go there, they would like to mess you up. So we'll go and work and bring additional information. And many times I discovered that when we went for leadership discussions and work, somebody needs to mute. We went and I discovered that exactly the way she was feeling, that things will come up, was exactly what happened. So I think that the women I have worked with, apart from the first one that had her major problem, which I tried to manage as much as possible. And end of the day, we became friends, of course. But the second one that I worked with as a supervisor, I had a good time because I respected her, she respected all of us, and she showed that she was competent. And that is very critical. So that has been my experience. That was my experience with working with lady bosses. They are good, they can be good bosses. Even though once in a while you can find one somewhere that wants to show she's an iron lady, but it is important that men need to have a clear understanding that they need to support women to be the best they can be. It's not a competition. What is yours, and what is hers is hers. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for that. We really appreciate that. So, well, going back to Christina now, and the question that we have for you, because you know, most of the time when we look at our leadership in associations, in organizations, now using ASSP as an example, in some places, they still look at it like, how will a woman be a leader? How will a woman be the person that is leading the men? So what do you think is the most significant barrier to women in leadership? Because, you know, sometimes some women have the qualities, but when you now look at the attitude of men, you tend to shy away, even though you have those qualities. So how do you go about that?
So it's interesting that you made that last comment, because I think one of the biggest barriers is that we aren't confident enough to believe we can do it. I've heard where there are leadership positions and a man will read over the description and the qualifications, and there are 10 of them, and he will be able to meet 3 or 4, and he will feel confident to apply for that job and know he can do that job. And a woman will look at that same job description and those same 10 qualifications. And if she cannot meet every single one, she will feel that she's not qualified, and therefore she won't apply. And I would love to somehow find a way to change that, because as one of the other panelists had mentioned, women want to go for perfection, and we have to learn to give that up. And I say that as somebody who feels I am a perfectionist. So I am speaking as someone who needs to do this myself, but I'm also speaking as someone who has had that success. The job that I have now, I had zero experience in the insurance industry when I applied for the job. All of my experience was as a safety professional. And obviously, as someone coming in to work in insurance, they wanted somebody with that background, and I didn't have it, but I applied and I interviewed over and over again until I was able to convince them that I could do the job, because I knew I could, because I had that confidence in myself that I could. And, obviously I was able to get the job 8.5 years later. I've been very successful in my job, and I absolutely love what I do. So I think one of the biggest barriers that women have is that we just don't, for some reason, we don't have that confidence, whether it's because we have had experiences that have taken that away from us, whether it's because we have had managers, supervisors, colleagues who have given us the impression that we're not competent enough for it, or whether it's because, unfortunately, there are those who don't give the opportunity because, a woman, minority, whatever it might be. I think society, there are still lots of steps to take, and there are lots of strides to make in order to get folks to remember that, you look at qualifications, not what you think the person could be, but what they say, or what, how do I want to say this? There's still a lot of bias in the world, unfortunately, when it comes to women in leadership roles. And that is just a fact of the matter. And it's sad, but it's true. And I think it's a constant battle that we will have. And that's why I love days like today, where we're hearing from men on the panel who have had the success, and they're giving excellent advice and great experiences of how they've found success and they've worked well, and they see women who have succeeded, and they're telling us how they have been able to do that. And I hope we can take some of that away, and we can remember that by being confident and understanding the role and being assertive, being professional, and being respectful, and being able to work together, that is how we get to where we have to go. And by doing that consistently, the leadership opportunities will come. And then when they are there, we have to be able to be bold enough to take the step. We have to be confident enough to take the step, because that is how it's going to get better. And that is how we are going to break those barriers.
All right, thank you so much, Christina, for that. Would have gone ahead with more, but in 1 minute, can you just tell us the advice that you have for young professionals on how to position themselves for leadership? It's just 1 minute, so all the panelists will give us their different advices in 1 minute, and then we'll end the session so that we can still take the questions before we go to the next aspect.
So my advice would be never stop learning, whether it's education in a schooling or a class or a certification, whether it's having a mentor and learning from them. Never stop learning, never stop trying to improve yourself, and always keep moving forward and have the confidence that you can, and you'll go far.
Thank you so much for your time, and we're happy to have you with us. All right.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right. So for Engineer Bada, what's your last words? Can you just give us your advice for young female professionals on how to position themselves for leadership? Just 1 minute. Engineer Bada, are you still with us? Okay. We'll move to Angela. So please, in 1 minute, can you give us your advice for young female professionals or young professionals now, not just female, on how to position themselves for leadership so that they can come out of their different shells?
The advice I will have for every young professional is take advantage of every opportunity you have to volunteer. Volunteering has really helped me thus far. The society we live in, the world we live in, people who don't have that patience to give opportunity to people that are just learning. So, and the only way you can gain that experience is by volunteering. Have that servant attitude towards knowledge acquisition. When you approach any person to be your mentor and he is not forthcoming, don't expect a whole from one person. Take the bit that he has given to you and make a whole out of it. Volunteer, put yourself, be in places where you can learn and network. Don't give up on yourself. Believe in yourself. And when there is need for you to seek for help, either domestically as a woman or professionally, please don't be that superwoman that you want to drown yourself in activities. Seek for help when you can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So back
Can
to
you hear me now?
Engineer
Sorry.
Bada. Yes.
Oh,
It's
okay.
good to have you back. So
Yeah,
in 1
thank you.
minute, can you please
Yeah.
give us your advice for young female professionals on how to position themselves for leadership so we can come out of our shell?
Okay, so I like the way you framed it, that so that ladies will come out from their shell, because I think the significant issue that I feel that ladies have is actually coming out from their shell. And I've worked with a lot of ladies for more than 10 years, being mentors to many and assigning mentors to them in Society of Petroleum Engineers. And I've seen them actually becoming leaders of today. And I'm very happy, and I have a lot of experience about mentoring generally the young professionals. Actually, the Bible says that you have to ask. You ask and you have to seek. I think majorly ladies have to ask. They have to seek. It is very important. You cannot keep quiet, because I think that's what men are good at. Most men are not even good at all. But because they ask, they are tutored, they are mentored. But no matter how good you are just around and you are not asking, you are not doing anything. Nobody is not just going to put you there because you are this, you are that. They want to see that commitment. Your asking is the commitment. So I feel not only that to sponsor a lady, what we have also done very well in SP is that to also sponsor a lady. You can actually sponsor people. It's different from mentoring, and which is a very good aspect. But you have to see that commitment in that person. You have to see that drive in that person. So it's also good for men generally to sponsor young professionals too. So I don't really see something really difficult in ladies becoming leaders. It's just that they also need to be committed and ask. So people should not complain when they are not seen as people that want it. I think they should have that drive that I want this thing. And then if you are good and they see that you really want it, it's not just about that you are overambitious. No, because most men ask and they don't say they're overambitious. So you also have to be ready to it. Don't be ashamed. Don't just go straight. I need this and I have all the qualification, and you will get it. Okay. So, but as you know, I think that is one of the issues that we have. So we want ladies to ask, and they will be sponsored, they will be mentored, they will be trained. And of course, as I've told you, a lot of good qualities from ladies already inborn that will just showcase when they are leaders already. So thank you. I think that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So Dr. Olive, your last word and advice. Dr. Olive, are you still with us? Oh, okay. So, Dr. Olive? All right, thank you. So, your last word in 1 minute and advice for young professionals on how to position themselves for leadership so that we can overcome all those challenges that we go through. Thank you.
So my advice would be for young female professionals, if you want to position yourself for leadership, you should not hold back. Learn to speak up. You speak up and show what you are good at. Don't you demonstrate that you demonstrate skills you have, you speak up. You don't wait for your achievements to be noticed. You speak up, don't hide or lurk behind the shadows. And where you see double standards, you need to call it out, because at times, most of the time, these things persist because we keep quiet about it. You can respectfully call it out when you observe that there are double standards being meted out, with you at the disadvantage. And on another note, the help note, you learn while you're still trying to attain leadership positions, you must also try and keep healthy, sleep well. Good sleep is important. Try and balance good sleep, avoid fatigue, have a positive attitude, and we'll get there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Olive, for that. And last but not the least, Mr. John Gia, I hope you're still with us.
I'm here. I respect ladies, so I won't run away until they left.
Thank you very much for that, sir. So please, in 1 minute, can you give us your advice for young professionals, female professionals, on how to position themselves for leadership? So again, other speakers have said we should ask. So now we have to come out of our shells to ask.
I align myself with what Christiana and Angela said. Number one, the last thing I will say is that as a young professional woman, don't allow yourself to be disrespected. In addition to all that has been said, don't give what you have to get what you want. Work. It is said that righteousness exalts a nation. And I believe that the same righteousness exalts a woman. That's what the Bible says. And it works. That's what makes you to look straight and work to be professional and do things right. So don't give yourself in order to get what you want. Work to get what you want and earn your respect. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And thank you to all the panelists for giving us your time and for all the information that you have shared. I must say I've learned a lot from this session. So we have just 2 questions for the panelists. First question is from Joan to Christina. And the question goes like this. How did the top management of the various organizations you worked with respond to some of the challenges that you were facing in terms of putting the right controls in place in a bid to creating a conducive work environment for yourself and other women?
So to be honest, I had some organizations that did not do that, unfortunately. I was the only female consultant hired, and there were definite things in place that it was made clear that as a woman, I was not welcome in certain situations. And that did not change while I was there, unfortunately. But then I have also had organizations like the one I work for now, which they acknowledge the importance of their employees, and they respect the people that work there, and they care for the people that work there, and they want to do right by those. And so they will accommodate by having rooms set aside in offices for women who are breastfeeding or women who are pregnant and they need a place to go. They will have safe spaces to be able to, discuss things in a confident nature. They have those things in place. So, I have been lucky that majority of where I have worked that have those things have been there. But I will say this too, be sure, don't be afraid when you are looking for a job or you are offered a position and you're interviewing, don't be afraid to ask for those things. That says a lot about the culture of a company. And so if you go there and you don't see those things, you don't get a feel for those things, you're asking questions about them and they don't have those answers, I would take that into strong consideration about working there, because that might be a battle and a challenge that you don't need to face, because there are companies out there that won't have to make you make that choice. So.
All right, thank you very much. And Joanne, I hope that has
Thank you for the
answered
question.
your question.
Yes,
All
I hope
right.
it did. Thank you for the question.
All right, you're welcome. For the next question, it goes to Dr. Olive from Chinwe, Ojia. Well done, Ma. Talking of mental health, how would you deal with a male boss who talks down on you just because you are pregnant?
Okay. Said a male boss who talks down. Well, the thing is that itself is inappropriate because it depends on the makeup of the company. If the male boss is the owner of the company, that's a different ball game. But if he has a boss, you might need to take that up. But then again, while there's no excuse for the male boss to talk down on you because you're pregnant, I'll give this because I believe that women, it's unfortunate that women, we have to prove ourselves. We have to work harder than men to be able to prove ourselves as capable. That's because of the perception, the way we're perceived, by our male colleagues and even our female colleagues. I have had in my capacity as head of department, I've had interns, medical interns, residents doing training. And last month, a new intern came in and she was at least 8 months pregnant. Wanting to start, the internship program is for 1 year. She's supposed to stay in my department for 3 months. And then as a woman, even no matter how empathetic I want to be, why would you start a program when you are 8 months pregnant? We do long ward rounds. So I wish you're expected to sit at every patient's bed, so that's not to, take anything away from these questions. But one thing I've seen is that how we prove ourselves, because even there is a reason in government service, you are entitled to maternity leave after 1 year, then normal leave after 6 months. When you come into an establishment, how you're perceived to be a hardworking person, you demonstrated your own sense of worth. People will be understanding to you most of the time, when you're pregnant, knowing that, because the main issue people have with pregnant ladies is that they're not as productive. But then I will tell them that pregnancy is for a period. I mean, it's not like, even if you employ someone, a young person, I mean, she's not going to keep being, after about 3 or 4, she stops and you're done with all the maternity leaves and all. So answering your question would be, for a male boss that is talking down on you because you're pregnant, I would also want to ask more questions. How is that pregnancy affecting your productivity? That's one thing. Then, if the male boss has a boss or has a process for reporting such inappropriate behavior, I think you would want to take that up, because but if the person is the owner of the organization, then there's a problem. It's unfortunate. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that, because if the boss is the proprietor of the organization, then there's a problem. But if there is someone that he answers to, or in an organization that is well established, there would be a way to follow through such, report such inappropriate behavior. But I'll also say, that understanding that we're women, pregnancy, all those are parts of life. Those are the challenges that we have, but while we are not, when you're not pregnant, or when you don't have, pregnancy is a physiological condition, is what a woman should go through. When you're not pregnant, you give in your best. Even when you're pregnant, you still try to put your best. And I believe your colleagues will appreciate what you're doing. Most of the time, all my pregnancies were at work, and I didn't have any problems, but so I think that is that. So answering someone talking inappropriately to you because you are pregnant, I think you should take, it's not something that you should just overlook, because that will also affect your mental health. That would affect your morale, your sense of self-worth. And care is not taking, you take the frustration back. Take the frustration and pour it on your husband, and that also affects your home life, and then your work-life balance is now affected. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that, Dr. Olive. I think our time has been fast spent, and we really appreciate all the panelists. So we'll go back to Kemi to go ahead to the next item on the agenda. Kemi, over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Bukola, for anchoring that section, and a very big thank you to all the panelists. Looking at the chat room, so many messages, and like Monica said, you have to relearn, unlearn, and learn. So you don't get tired of learning, because for you to be for your professional growth to be successful, you just have to continue to learn, relearn, and unlearn. And having a work-life balance, you need to think about your mental health, know how to balance it so that you don't cause issue for yourself. Okay, we have gotten to the last aspect of this maiden workshop. So I'm going to invite Justina Okoro, the ASSP Nigerian Chapter WISE Administrator, to wrap up with the presentation of certificate and also closing remark. Over to you, Madam.
Good evening, everyone. I hope we've really had a great time today. We want to appreciate all our presenters, the speakers, and our panelists. Special thanks to you. Thank you for volunteering. Thank you for making our time to, be here for us. As ASSP WISE Nigerian Chapter, it's our norm to recognize and appreciate our speakers, after each program. And the certificate of recognition will be sent to every one of you to appreciate you. And it's just going to be in this sample, and we'll make sure that you all get it, and I'll put it in a slide form so that you can see that. So everyone wants to see it. Thank you so much for the panelists, for the speakers, for the presenters. We want to say a very big thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I want to give a special thanks to Angela. She came through, for us at a very tough time. We called up Angela at a very short notice for her to be able to make her presentation, and she was able to do that very well. So I say a very big thank you to Angela. I appreciate you, and the ASSP Nigerian Chapter appreciates you all. Thank you very much. Now over to my closing remarks. I will have to stop sharing the slides. I will allow you to see my lovely face. I hope my internet will take that. Okay. Can you all see me? I don't know.
Yes, yes.
Yes, we can.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hello once more. Thank you all for staying through the end of this workshop. I hope you all had an exciting and educative time. I did. It was quite exciting, and it was quite educative and enlightening. Isaac Newton, wrote in the 1675 letter to fellow scientist Robert Hooke, and I quote, he said, "It is by standing on the shoulders of giants. It's by standing on the shoulders of giants, progresses are being made. It becomes easier. We learn from, from the life of the achievers and people who lived before us. So if we stand on the shoulders, we are able to see more and understand their shortcomings and also learn from their strengths. And I believe basically that's what we have done today. Okay, so I believe we have gained knowledge. I believe we have gained insight, and that we are ready to move to the next level of leadership in our career and our personal life. I also believe that for people that need mentors, we should be able to speak up and talk that we need to be mentored. And for some of us that have not had mentees under us, I think it's now that also we need to identify somebody that we can actually mentor and make an impact in the person's life. So for all the speakers, for all the panelists, we say a big thank you for your volunteering. ASSP Nigerian chapter-wide appreciate you all for staying, for all the participants that stayed till the end. I know it's not easy. You have spent your quality time, your weekend, the only time you have to spend with the family. You spent it here with us. I want to say a very big thank you. We appreciate you all. So on behalf of ASSP Nigerian chapter-wide, we say thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Justina Okoro. Okay, please, can we all show our video so that I can just take like a screenshot for this maiden workshop? It was really a success. Thank you.
We need look as we can take. Yeah.
So, Justina Okoro, please also take from your side too, just in case.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, that's great. Okay.
Yeah, so if we can put on our videos, please, so that we can do that. We're already doing that. Yeah, I can see you smiling, Victor. That's a good one. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ginika, I can see you, thank you. Thank you, Angela, thank you, Winnie. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Christiana. And thank you so much, Leslie, all the way from ASSP Global, Georgia, USA. We say thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.
I am so
My pleasure, everyone.
delighted.
Take care.
I'm so delighted that I can't hold back not saying thank you. I am really grateful for everyone that had made this happen, to the administrator, the executives, our global administrator and chair. We appreciate you. All our presenters, especially for our men that stood in for us, to let us know our strength, to let us know the other side that we need to tread with care. We appreciate you. We drew strength from every speaker today. From Dr. Olive, thank you. The timing was short, but you were there to do greatly. I appreciate every one of you. I join my voice to the administrator to thank you all specially. And we hope to see you in our next section doing great things. So on behalf of the Nigerian chapter of WISE, we say a big thank you for making this maiden event. Thank you so much.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So we
take care, all.
All right.
In addition,
Bye.
if you are not yet
Bye, everybody.
ASSP, please try and join us. You can visit our website at www.ASSP.org to be a member of ASSP. And make sure to join WISE Common Interest Group. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I'll end the section now.
Everyone.